back to another podcast of Quédate. I'm your host, Ana. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. It's been quite a while since I last released an episode, so I do apologize for that. It's been a last it's been a last it's been a crazy few weeks. It's just been very busy, but I still want to continue making these videos as well because they're very important to me. And so today we have a very special guest, and she's back for a second time. If you guys saw the last episode, please give it a like, or if you haven't watched it, please go back and watch it again. We talk about mental health and about medication, and so I brought my sister again today here, my sister Daniela.
Hi everybody, nice seeing y'all again.
Yay, thank you for being back, sis.
You're welcome.
So today we are going to jump right into it. So today we are going to talk about the process of accepting and coming to terms of being alone, right? And so what I mean by alone, it's not like completely alone in the world. However, is just being on our own without a partner, without being in a relationship as well, and just kind of exploring how life is on your own terms as well. And so I brought my sister here today because she's been through a lot these last few years, and she continues to learn from life experiences as well, and I get to be part of that as well because as her older sister, I feel like I play a role in her life as well, and I feel like a lot of the times I find myself wanting to give her advice, or tell her, no, like don't do things this way, because I've experienced it that way as well. But then I'm also learning how to accept that she's an adult and she's her own individual, and it's important to have your own experiences. So anyway, let's get into it. Enough of me, let's hear from her. So sis, just to start off, my first question for you is, it's a big question, right? But how has it been for you or how has the process been for you of being on your own without having a partner on your side or being in a relationship?
Well, I believe that it has definitely been a journey where it's been like a roller coaster. I've had my ups and downs. I've definitely experienced meeting new people, being in different places, experiences. It's definitely life-changing to become single after 5 years of being with somebody, and obviously coming back home is something that I never imagined myself doing, especially because I thought it was a forever thing being with my past partner. I thought it was going to be a forever thing. I think everybody, has been there, where, they think everything is forever. And sometimes it is, but sometimes it isn't. So in my case, it wasn't the way that I expected it to be. I learned a lot from it. I think I grew a lot from my experiences, and I think I matured a lot as a woman. And I feel like now I can say that I've surpassed a lot of things, and I've gone through a lot of obstacles in my life where I can say, hey, you know what, I did that, heck yeah, that made me much stronger as an individual. And as a mom too, most importantly, because I know there are a lot of single moms out there that keep a lot to themselves and don't have that, how do you say, that support system. And in this interview, I hope I can hopefully help a lot of people out that have been through my situation.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, sis. And you're absolutely right. One of the main goals of this podcast is really to normalize experiences for people, mm-hmm. and to for people to be able to connect with the experiences that people share about here in the podcast too. Because I think sometimes people go through things and they feel like they're the only ones that are going through it.
Yes.
And then that makes them feel very alone, right? And it can become very, very scary. It's just very, it just can be a very challenging time too. So, a question that came up for me that I have for you is, what is, or why do you think it's hard for some people to be alone, um, and continue maybe like, like say they leave a relationship or they get out of a relationship and then like they're back into another relationship shortly after. um, why do you think people do that?
I think that society has taught us that being alone means that we're lonely, but that's not the case. It's only showing us how to be independent individuals. I feel like most of the reason why people do that, they get into another relationship, is because they're not used to being by themselves. They crave that love, intimacy, and they feel like they're not whole as a person because they don't feel like they're enough. And they feel like their self-esteem probably goes down and they think, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I single? I must get another partner to replace that void that I have in myself.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel like that at a certain point because I was so used to being in a relationship that my thought was, I need a partner, I need somebody, like a male figure there for me, for my child, especially since I have a little boy. I wanted that male figure in my life, which is not to say I don't have my son's father in his life anymore. Of course, he's still in his life. We have custody, but when my son is with me, I feel like, okay, I can show him how to do this and that, but I wanted that male figure literally there when I had my kid. But as a woman, yeah, like I wanted to replace that ex-partner that I had. But what I needed the most was to find myself and to find myself again and to reassure myself that it's okay to be alone, because that doesn't mean that you're lonely, like I said before. It just means that I have a lot of growing to do, and I need to learn that it's okay if I never find a partner. It's fine. It's totally okay. As long as I have myself and I have, I'm very spiritual, so I like to remind myself that God is who I need at the end of the day. I don't need anybody else, so.
Yeah. So something that I just heard from you right now, and what you said is that, like, one, society plays a huge influence in determining whether, or sometimes determining whether we are in a relationship or not, right? And then also, like, as part of being humans, we're social creatures, so we constantly want to feel that validation. We want to feel wanted. We want to feel desired. And so sometimes we might go out and like look for that. Not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean that we'll jump into another relationship, but we just want to have someone there, right? Somebody to connect with, and that's fine, right? We're, like I said, we're social creatures, so that's our survival instinct. We do that in order to survive as well. However, there is a process where, like you're saying, that when you leave a relationship, I think it's also important to spend time alone and be by yourself, and it sounds like that it's kind of the process of healing, right?
Yes.
Because then you don't allow yourself to heal when you jump from one relationship to another immediately, right? Then you're just trying to fill a void that's just there and it hasn't,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a rebound in a way. Like you're having somebody, but at the same time you're kind of accepting all their flaws. You're like, okay, well, it's a human being. It's somebody that pays attention to me, gives me attention. But in reality, it's like it could be that exact same person that you left, but in a different person's body. But you're accepting it because they like you, and you're like, okay, well, that's enough for me. They like me. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, do I like them? That's the real question. That's what you need to really ask yourself. So.
Yeah. Do you feel like now you're more aware of the things that you want and don't want in a relationship? Like, is that pretty clear to you now? Or is that still something you're exploring, you feel?
Yeah, I think I mean, I guess like a list, I guess, of the things I don't like, the things I do like, things that are definitely not acceptable or whatever, and
non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable, yeah.
Which would be what? Can you share a few of them?
I have a lot. Okay, so definitely they cannot have bad breath. No, I'm kidding. That's fair, they can't be bald. No, I'm kidding. Well, it's interesting because I have been on dates where, the man, they talk a lot about themselves, and that to me is kind of like a red flag where it doesn't leave any space for them to really want to get to know you.
Yeah, ask you questions about yourself, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, as humans, like, we love talking about ourselves, but it's just like that borderline of like, okay, you need to only talk about yourself like a certain amount, and then you need to also hear out the other person as well.
Yeah.
So that is a total, I guess, red flag for me. If I know they have like, let's see, if they talk to me like a certain way where it's disrespectful, obviously, I'm not gonna go forward with this person.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, I guess, I mean, I know people have baggage. We all have baggage.
Yeah, we all
but,
carry it.
It comes to a certain point where if it's just too much, where you have to change your lifestyle or you feel like you are adjusting a lot for them, about yourself, then no, I don't think that, that person's right for you. Because at the end of the day, you should be comfortable with being yourself around that person, and the other way around, that person should feel comfortable around you, and yeah, I mean, I think you just know it. When you meet a person, you're like, okay, this person is really, they're awesome. They're very, mature. They have good vibes, and yeah. But yeah, what I look for in a person basically is, they're respectful, they have, good humor, and, they're nice, I guess. I don't know. It looks like I'm looking for somebody, which I'm not, but
no.
It's not a dating show, but
yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
that basically wraps it up.
Yeah, those are important ones, right? Those are like that's what will create like a good foundation in the relationship too. I always say like the respect, the trust, like honesty, and all those things are very important too. And so that's the really nice thing about being in a relationship, is that when if the relationship doesn't work out, then you are able to look back and say, you know what, those things like I'm not gonna tolerate and I'm not gonna accept in my next relationship. And then you always want better and better too, right? So then you learn from those experiences so that you're not repeating the same thing or making the same choices in men over and over again, right? Because then we end up wondering like, why didn't it work out again? It's like, well, maybe I'm just, I'm choosing the same kind of men. And so let's try something different too. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's very, very important. What is something that you feel like you didn't really get a chance to do a lot of when you were in a relationship, that you got a chance to do now that you're not?
I would have to say I got to really focus on myself, and I got to do things that I enjoy doing, such as painting. I really love painting. I feel like I had more responsibility. Well, I mean, when I have my son, I focus on him 100%, but there are days when I don't have him, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a whole family to care for. So I'm by myself, I'm painting, I'm thinking, I'm, like I reading a book. And I think all those little things just kind of lead to um, kind of just brainstorming like what it is that I want to do in life. Like for example, before I was a teacher, I don't know, I think I mentioned in my last interview that I kind of had it crystal clear that I no longer wanted to work with children. So then I had changed my career into working with adults. So, well, in a prison. So it was a drastic change, and I think the reason why I chose to be in education was because the holidays. I knew that I was going to be with my family more, and um, it was just easier getting off early from work or whatever the case was. But now that I have more time for myself, I'm able to kind of manage more of a 9 to 5 type of job, where and I love this job. I love what I do, and I wouldn't go back to what I was doing before. Um, and just like little things here, doing my nails, pedicure, whatever. I would feel selfish actually doing that when I was with my last relationship. I would feel like, okay, well, this time I could be cooking dinner, cleaning the house, or whatever it is. I didn't feel like I deserved it, or it was very weird. It was a different type of relationship. So yeah, now I just feel like I deserve a lot of things. So
Yeah, I love that for you, sis. And I think that's I think that's where like the beauty of all of this is at, because I know initially it's like it's really hard when you leave a relationship because that's all you've known, right? You live with this person, it becomes like your routine, and then you're left by yourself and you break away from that, and then you start kind of questioning like, okay, well, who am I as a person, like who am I as an individual? And a lot of the times we lose our identity in relationships as well, um, because we have other people to take care of and all that. And so really right now coming out of a relationship, right, especially with the baby, it's like you've found the time to also like not forget about yourself. And we always talk about that here in this podcast, right? The act of self-care, where it's like you have to take care of yourself first before you are able to take care of other people, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And so I think it's also really beautiful that you are modeling that for your son as well. Because sometimes kids, when they see that their parents don't take care of themselves, that they don't work out, that they eat like crap, that they say bad word, a bunch of things, and that the kids, they learn that, right? It's learned behavior as well. So if you're good, then your child is going to be even better as well, and you're going to be in a space where you're better able to take care of them as well. Not to say that some days are probably hard too, right? Like it's,
oh yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
and maybe the patience isn't there too, but yeah, and yeah, also too, like so Daniela was working as a special education teacher for a few years, and I noticed, right, that she was very stressed, and she would get pretty overwhelmed as well, and she always talked about wanting to go into law enforcement. But somehow, right, having the holidays off and following the school calendar just seemed to be sound a lot better than to go into the corrections or to law enforcement. But now that she's switched her career and now she's working at a prison, like she seems so much happier, and she gets home not as overwhelmed anymore, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah. So actually I was going to go into corrections. I went through the whole entire process. When it came down to, okay, here's your academy date, I turned it down. I got offered this other job opportunity where I was able to utilize my my education. Yeah. So I kind of felt like this job was for me, because it's more it kind of lies more in the rehabilitation area of incarcerated people.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy to know that, you know, these people, when they see me, they're like, heck yes, like I finally get to see Miss Mora. So, you know, they know it's a good sign. They know that they're about to be released. They know that I'm going to help them out. So I guess you can say I'm under like the parole area, and sometimes they'll, you know, they'll say, hey, you know, thank you so much. Thank you for helping me out. Where I know as a correctional officer, if I were to have become one, I know for a fact that I wouldn't have gotten that satisfaction. I would have, you know,
much different.
It would have been way different dynamic. So, yeah, but yeah, I'm very happy with my job now.
Yes, that's awesome. I'm very, very proud of you too. And she's making a lot more money now too.
I didn't want to mention that, but hey, you did it for me, so it's
win-win.
Alright. Yeah, I'm able to do my eyelashes now.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, what other things, or I know, right? But can you share what other things you're doing, right? Besides the going to the gym and like doing art and all that. What other things are you doing to help you towards healing? And I know there's something they said you started off doing again.
Yeah, so I did go back to therapy. I just had my first session a couple of days ago, and that session itself, just 1 hour, totally changed a lot of how I think. And it gave me answers to why things trigger me the way that they do. And you know, I wish that I went back to therapy a lot sooner, but it's okay, you know, there's always a time and place for everything. So so that helped me out a lot. And journaling also helps me to just, you know, say everything that I have to say. And if it's something that is definitely bothering me, or that I have bottled in, I have learned that you know, saying it to somebody, or you know, whoever, just placing boundaries and standing up for myself is something that I've been doing more. Before I was the type of person where, okay, you know what, it's not hurting me physically, it's okay, but really, like, if it does hurt you or bother you mentally and emotionally, that can be as bad, just as bad. So yeah, I've built up that courage. And also, you know, for my son too, I want him to look at me like an inspiration, to that it's okay to speak up for yourself and to believe in yourself, and that you are worth, you know, a lot for you to, you know, for you to actually speak up, because you are worthy of placing boundaries with people and for people to respect you. So
yeah. 100%. I love that, sis. All right, just to kind of end here, where do you what do you want for yourself in the next 5 years?
Definitely a house.
Yeah.
So hopefully, you know, saving up, and I get a place of my own for my son as well, so he can have his own room, he can have his playroom, whatever. And I want to hopefully get my master's degree. I know I'm like 5-6 classes away from attaining my master's degree, so hopefully that, I mean, not hopefully, but I will make it happen. So
mindset.
Yes, yeah, and it will be in criminal justice as well. So that, and also I want to be more of an inspiration for people. I want to learn more. I want to experience more. I want to be able to communicate with people in a way where I can, you know, touch their heart, and to be able to basically be a change for people, like for them to get inspired from my experiences, and for them to learn from my mistakes. But yeah, I think that you have to really experience it, like you said in the beginning. You know, like you give me this advice, you know, I know I'm very hard-headed, I do shit anyways, but you know what, at the end of the day, I always say, damn, she was right. But it's all right though, because
Yeah.
you live and you learn.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, sis, so much. And you know what you said right now about hoping to inspire or to, just motivate other people too. I think you've done that today, and I think you did that during the last interview too. And I think that's why, for me, this podcast is so important. Again, to bring people like you, that have a lot of experience and I think a lot of wisdom as well, and to share a lot of your insight as well. Um, for people to to connect in this way again. And I think anybody that has watched this today, hopefully you feel inspired, by what my sister shared today. And so with that said, I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank you, sis, again for making time and space to come on here and talk about your experience. I really, really appreciate it. All right, guys, until next time, see you.